This is the Secure Family Podcast. Welcome, friend. I'm Andy Murphy. This show is all about empowering parents to protect themselves and their family. I believe that security is the foundation of happiness. I want your family to be safe and happy. If that sounds like something that resonates with you, subscribe to the show because there is always something new to talk about. The information that I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only. My goal is to empower you to make safer decisions for yourself and for your family, because our safety is our own responsibility. Today on the show, we're going to talk about a place we all find ourselves often, a parking lot. I'm going to share why parking lots matter to your safety, how to see trouble before it starts, and how to safely get your family in the car. All of that and more coming up on the Secure Family Podcast. Privacy is important. And so many people think that they have nothing to hide online. And nothing could be further from the truth. Our data is being bought and sold every day by data brokers. Data like your name, address, phone number, work history, property value, and even our family member names. Why do people buy this data? I'm not entirely sure, but generally I feel it's not for my benefit. And then scammers can also buy this data and misuse it to scam you or your family members. But don't worry. There is something that you can do about it. One of the best things that you can do is let Delete Me go to work for you. They'll remove your data from hundreds of data broker sites, so you'll get some of your privacy back. Go to joindeleteme.com/dad and use promo code DAD to get 20% off your Delete Me plan. Delete Me is a sponsor of the Secure Family Podcast. Chances are, if you go to work, there's a parking lot. If you go to the grocery store, there's a parking lot. At the mall, at school, at church, at the doctor's office, even at the park, there's a parking lot. Unless you live in a city where you never drive, you're going to be in a parking lot at some point during your day. And here's the important part. Parking lots, while convenient, do pose their own set of opportunities, we'll say, for criminals and for accidents to happen. So please understand that not every parking lot is dangerous, but every parking lot has common issues that can be exploited, and the bad guys know that, which is why parking lots can be a great place for some types of crime. Today we're going to be talking about why that is, and then we'll go over some simple practical things that we can all do to be safer when we're out with our families. Before we get into the tips, we do need to understand two concepts that explain why parking lots can be risky. The first is the idea of habitual places. A habitual place is any location that anyone can access without restriction. Think about grocery stores, malls, parks, and these big box stores. Nobody checks your ID. Nobody asks why you're there. You can just walk in. And here's the key point. Because everyone can have access to these places, that includes bad people too. Criminals also view habitual spaces as places of opportunity. They know that they can blend in. They know that they're not going to be challenged, and they know that they can get in and out quickly. The second concept that I want to go over before we really get going is the concept of a transitional space. A transitional space is a place where people are constantly coming and going. You're not there to stay. You're there to move from one place to another. Sidewalks, entryways, lobbies, airports, all of these things fall into the broad category of transitional space. Parking lots happen to fit both transitional space and habitual area. They're habitual because anyone can enter them without any sort of restriction, and they are transitional because people are constantly arriving and leaving. Generally speaking, there is no single authority figure over an entire parking lot. There might be cameras, but a hoodie and a hat really defeats a lot of those cameras. And even though the store technically owns the lot, they're not usually patrolling it to keep you safe. Now, of course, if you work in a government building, then yeah, chances are you're going to have security in your parking lot, but not all of us work for the state or federal government. So what you end up with is kind of this no man's land, a place where everyone assumes that they're safe, but nobody is really in charge of your safety except for you, of course. That doesn't mean that parking lots are automatically dangerous. It does mean that we should treat them with more awareness and more intention than we usually do. And I will point a finger directly at myself here. It's not just me talking to you about this. I also need to follow my own advice here. The easiest thing that we can do to make ourselves safer in a parking lot, and honestly anywhere, is to remove distractions. That means, number one, put your phone away. It means taking your earbuds out. It means we all need to have all of our senses working. If somebody is trying to take my wallet, I want to see them coming. I don't want to realize that they're there when they're right next to me and they've already started their attack. I need all the warning I can get that something bad is going to happen. When we keep our heads up, we can see what's going on around us. When we keep our ears open, we can hear people approaching us. That gives us options. And in this particular case, options are safety. When you're selecting a place to park, where you put your car really does matter. If it's dark, park in a well-lit area, probably under a street light or any light that you can see in that parking lot. But guess what? You know that already. But what you also want to avoid is parking near trucks, vans, dumpsters, or anything that blocks visibility or creates hiding places. If you can't see what is fully around your car, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Again, nothing may happen, but you want to have all of the options available to you to make the best decisions possible. Also, avoid parking near strangers who are loitering or sitting in their vehicles. Now, I know I've spent my fair share of time sitting in a parking lot, eating my lunch, or waiting for my wife to come out of the store. I actually feel right at home in a parking lot, but I'm kind of rare. And that may mean, by that I mean kind of weird. People are in parking lots for all sorts of reasons. Some people are making calls, others are watching videos, and as I have witnessed, some people are there for meeting their side chick for some midday activities. Fun times. So what you need to look for when noticing people in a parking lot is to discern why they're there. Now, I don't mean you need to have enough information to write a doctoral dissertation about it, but you just need to get a general feeling as to why you're seeing somebody in that parking lot. A man sitting alone in a car without a phone and wearing a COVID mask is actually kind of odd. Many people don't wear those anymore, but they are still a socially acceptable way of obscuring your face. If you can see people watching you walk, well, that's going to be suspicious. So a car running with two men in it wearing masks is a flaming red flag. Many people, myself included, forget to look inside cars when they are walking in a parking lot. This is a known blind spot for me. I've been working on this for the past several years and I am getting better at it, but just don't assume that every car in a parking lot is empty, because it's not. Criminals using vehicles for robberies and kidnappings in a parking lot is really a great plan, and it's been going on for a long time. I'm sorry to say that, but that really is the truth. The car fits in, they back into a spot that they can get out quickly, and they park close to the person that they're targeting. If an unaware person opens their car door, the criminals parked next to them can jump right out using the elements of surprise and speed to quickly overwhelm their target. It's almost a slam dunk. Once you pull into your spot, always roll up your windows and make sure that your doors are locked. If your car allows it, change the setting so that the doors unlock when the car turns off or when you remove the key. For a lot of us, when we put the car in park, the doors will unlock. Personally, I don't like that. So if you can change it to where it's a key out function, or when the engine turns off, that is your absolute best bet. You can search the internet for that sort of thing or check your driver's manual, and that information should be in there. I know that you want to check your phone before you get out of your car, but do it with the doors locked and the car still running. That way, if somebody tries to get in, they are locked out, and then you can speed away from your would-be attacker if it's necessary. If you see suspicious people or suspicious activity, report it. If you see something, say something. You could tell the people inside the store, or you could call 911 yourself and say, hey, I just want to pass this information along. I see this at this place, and if they need to come check it out, they'll come check it out. Some odd behaviors to look for include somebody walking around cars, pulling on door handles, peeking in windows, or bumping into the cars to check the alarms. That's an old school one. Also, taking pictures of car VIN numbers and license plates is going to be really odd too. And that kind of information, when you report it to law enforcement, they know that that's weird stuff. They'll understand that. When it comes time for you to leave your car, I need you to make it an unattractive target. That means don't leave valuables in plain sight. So hide laptops, keys, bags, and things like that. And also don't have your work ID like hanging on the mirror of your car or in the passenger seat. If somebody's trying to get into the building, it's real easy just to break your window, grab that ID, and go. Also, what you put on your car can make it an attractive target for a bad guy. I hate to say it this way, and just bear with me while I say this, but overly girly stickers and accessories for a car might attract the attention from the bad guys that you don't want. These might be people who believe that they can overpower a woman, and if they can target a car that they believe a woman is driving, that's going to put your car number one on their list. Gun stickers on the back window might also get your car broken into as well, so it cuts both ways. So think about what your car is saying about you. There's a little preparation that we can do in the event that your car gets stolen outright. In advance, go ahead and write down your license plate number and your VIN number and keep those either in your wallet or on your phone. That way, if your car is stolen, you have identifying information to share with the police. Pictures of the car's exteriors with any unique markings, like a scratch on it, will help the police to recognize it sooner. And let's face it, that information will be useful for a flock camera to spot the car later. As we wrap up, let's talk about how we as parents can get in and out of the car quickly with our kids. First off, if you are one parent and you are out with your kids, do your best to go out during the day when there are more people around. This way, people are less likely to rob or harass you. That is not a given, but the odds are better. No matter the time of day, keep your kids out of traffic. When walking to the store, keep the kids on the inside away from traffic. And what that means is as you walk, your children are close to the parked cars, not the moving cars. So with young kids, hold their hands and tell them to look for a reverse light for cars near them. It'll be a fun game that they can play, and they can also learn the life skill of watching out for cars backing out. And you can explain to your kids that you can't always count on a driver making a good decision, that it's really up to them to keep themselves safe. Just because a car is coming and you're a pedestrian or you're a person and they think, oh, well, the car will stop. That is not always the case. This is a great opportunity to teach them that lesson. So here's the big question. This is the one that I have talked about and battled with for the 9 years that I've had the Secure Dad. And it's kind of a chicken before the egg kind of question. So, do you put your kids in the car first, or do you put away the grocery cart first? Many parents want to know if you put your groceries away in your car first, then take your kid with you to the cart return, and then buckle them in, or do you buckle your kids in first, unload the groceries, and then return your cart? After being in the family safety space for nearly a decade, I can tell you this. It's whatever works for you. Personally, I would take my son with me to the cart return and then come back and buckle him in. That's just me, but you do what's best for you. And honestly, you can run through 1,000 different scenarios in your head of what you think is going to happen. And maybe that makes you feel better. Maybe it doesn't. But just think about what works for you, what works for your kids, what works for their personalities, and maybe the parking lot that you're in. And you do what's best for you. I personally chose my course of action because I wasn't worried that my son is going to just run off in the parking lot. I knew that if I took him to the cart return with me, he wasn't going to run off. For some parents, that is a real concern. So maybe they need to be buckled in first. It's really what works for you. The point is that you are thinking about it, and that is a very good sign. So please think about it, do what works for you, experiment with it, talk to your kids about it, see what they want. And that way you can work out a plan that's going to work for you every single time. Parking lots aren't dangerous because they're scary. They're risky because they're familiar. They're habitual, they're transitional, and that's exactly where people let their guard down. But now you know better. None of what I've talked about today is complicated, and none of it requires special gear. It just requires your attention and your thought process. If you bring awareness with you into these in-between spaces of life, you'll be safer and so will the people that you're responsible for. Well, that wraps up this edition of the Secure Family Podcast. Thank you, friend, for listening. Take back your privacy and personal data with help from Delete Me. Get 20% off a privacy plan when using the code DAD at checkout. Delete Me is the official data removal service of the Secure Dad. If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new today, I'd be grateful if you follow the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or leave a 5-star review. If you'd like to know more about the Secure Dad, join me on Instagram and Twitter, now called X. I had to change that in the script for some reason. My username for both platforms is The Secure Dad. And of course, my website is up and running 24/7 at thesecuredad.com. I'm Andy Murphy, reminding you that our safety is our own responsibility.